What up, bro?
What up,
Man,
sir?
it's that time again.
How was the weekend?
Dude, so far, peaceful. You know what I'm saying? No pressure, even though I welcome the pressure.
Even though you welcome the pressure,
Yeah,
there ain't no
this week,
pressure.
the week though,
Uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying? This week is recovery for this weekend is recovery from the week for me.
Ooh, wow.
Sometimes others bring the pressure to you. Sometimes, it's circumstances outside of the people. But this week, I brought the pressure.
You brought the pressure.
I was the pressure. And you know what? Surprisingly, the pressure that I put on my team, like at the almost towards the end of the day, they came to me. It was all crickets at the beginning of the shift. But by the end of the shift, man, they came to me and was like, hey, we thinking about doing a pitch in for next week, next Friday. Like, how should we go about this? And I'm like, they like, can we do that? I'm like, what you mean the team doing something for the team? It was so unexpected, bro. But that's the thing about pressure, man. You never know what it's gonna produce.
Mm.
How about yourself, man? Your week good? Your weekend good?
Man, the week was the same thing with bro. I had to put the pressure on my team yesterday.
Okay. Okay.
Had to squeeze the pressure out of them, man. Some dudes want to be out of line.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually the nice guy. I'm usually the one that I'm the peacemaker,
Mm-hmm.
But there's just sometimes
Every now and then.
every now and again, whenever somebody wants to test,
Mm.
you know,
Yes, sir.
sometimes in order to have peace, you got to be able to put a little pressure.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know what I mean? Like, hey,
Yeah. You gotta make it.
I'm a peaceful dude, but don't,
Don't you try me.
don't you try. But outside of that, man, the weekend's been good, man. Have enjoyed myself thoroughly, bro, and just thinking about life in general, bro.
Yeah.
Life in general, man, and especially when it comes to relationships,
Mm.
and there's definitely some things that I definitely want to get into when it comes to this topic personally. But
This one gonna hit home.
oh,
Okay.
bro, it's
Oh.
not only is it going to hit home, but it's going to hit hard.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
going to hit hard because there's just some people that need to understand
Mm-hmm.
the dynamics
Uh-huh.
of a corporate relationship. So, man, I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna leave it right there.
Okay. Okay.
I don't
Okay.
want to get ahead of myself because you know me,
That's a good
Flav.
place to put it.
You know me, Flav. I
Shots
like
fired.
to get ahead.
Shots fired. Well, let's get into it, man. You know what I'm saying? What are we wasting time for? Hey, I want to say, first of all, shout out to Darlene. You and Darlene had an excellent podcast yesterday, or excuse me, that was Thursday, right?
Yep.
Thursday night, our last aired podcast. Go check that out if you haven't checked that out on Facebook or on YouTube, whether on the F.I.R.M 365 24/7 on Facebook, because Facebook be leading the charge, or 365, that's the F.I.R.M at 365, the F.I.R.M 365 on YouTube. Hey man, YouTube is waking up. It's slow. It's like they still groggy eyed. They still,
Right. Mm-hmm.
it ain't no full awakening yet. But you know what I'm saying? I think that if we keep pushing in the direction that we pushing, you know what I'm saying, everybody gonna wake up. So shout out to everybody over there that has been paying attention, who have been following us on YouTube. We really appreciate you guys and everything that you bring to the table. And as Ulysses said, he got some things to say. I got some things to say. I hope y'all got some things to say. because y'all know this is it wouldn't be right if this wasn't a fellowship. You know what I'm saying? We do this in a righteous manner. We make sure that what we do here gets out to everybody. So without further ado, those of you that know already know. I don't know why my screen frozen, man. Go ahead and hit that clock.
I got you.
It's time. You know what I'm saying? It's time.
It is. Welcome to another edition of the F.I.R.M Pressure.
What up, world? It's the F.I.R.M.
Let's get it. Welcome to the F.I.R.M.
Oh, it's about to go down.
Set your schedule. Eastern Standard Time.
Saturday Nights Live for a time that's one of a kind.
Woo-wee. There's nothing off the table, no trolling. We go from politics to religion to relationships to whether or not you like crunchy or soft taco.
Woo! Forget about a love language. What about your love level?
Oh man, we excited for this one.
On all social media platforms.
So make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Fellowship in a righteous manner. That's the banner.
With your hosts, FLAVIUS and ULISES. We rolling Eastern Standard Time.
What up? Hold on, let me do it officially. What up, world? It's the F.I.R.M Pressure Podcast. We in this thing, you know what I'm saying? We hope y'all having a great weekend, you know what I'm saying? We hope that you guys are maintaining, hanging in there, encouraging somebody, staying encouraged, encouraging yourself in the Lord, as we say. And as we are taught, you know what I'm saying? So everybody that's out there, make sure while we live, to you, the live audience, we appreciate you all. Make sure you like this video, share it while we're live, comment, share it after we're live, comment after we live. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we put this out there, Ulysses, and we say, hit that notification bell, follow us, and people still be like, when y'all coming on live? That lets us know that you really ain't following us, that you
ain't watching.
You a fair, what they say, a fair weather fellowshipper.
Come
on. What I'm
on.
saying? You hear sometimes, but you ain't down for the cause. You know what I'm saying? But for everybody, whenever you get the chance, we appreciate you guys jumping in here. You know what I mean? Sharing in the conversation. We hope that you're getting something, gathering something from the conversations that we have. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a conversation, and a lot of things are at the genesis of a conversation. Sometimes you listen, man, we look for solutions before the conversation. We're looking for answers from everybody in the world. And tonight's, you know what I'm saying? Tonight's podcast is, you know, I want to speak up for those of you who are out there who do have answers. You know, there's a little bit of pressure for y'all to have the right answer, to have the best answer, to have the answer that was built on answers. And sometimes you feel like whenever you give somebody an answer and it doesn't result the way those people that are receiving want it to, you know, there's this pressure of maybe I didn't tell them the right thing. Maybe I didn't give them the right answer. But tonight's conversation is to address a key point when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? So Ulysses, man, we're going to jump right on into this one. What's the topic for today, bro? I'm frozen over here. I can't do nothing over here.
Topic of the
right now.
you let me know what you need, my good son.
I just need the topic to pop on up. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Nah. The background topic. You know what I'm saying? We want to go with the background.
Oh, the background topic.
Yeah. There you go. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about corporate relations. And we ain't talking about messing around on the job. Because I'm sure that's what a lot of people probably thought that we was talking about. You know what I'm saying? That we ain't talking about your work husband. We ain't talking about your work wife or your work your work boo. That's not what tonight's conversation is about.
Oh,
You
it's
know what I'm
not.
saying?
It's not.
Huh?
It's not.
Somebody said you look real corporate over there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, okay.
I saw the topic of conversation. You know what I mean? So I got to dress the part. You know
Well,
what I
keep
mean?
it in context.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, okay. Nothing wrong with that. But what we talking about when we're talking about corporate relations? We're talking about, if you didn't get the imagery of the thumbnail, is that there are many people, man, you know, through life experiences, you can't help but get smarter. And sometimes the judgment of your intelligence is based off of how smart you are. It's not really that you're dumb, you know what I'm saying? Even though, I know a guy named Neil who this past Friday had said to me, well, we was talking to a mechanic, and offhand, he was like, you would think it'd be, the mechanic was like, you would think it'd be common sense. And I'm talking about as if he has said this 1,000 times, bruh. He was like, well, you do know, bruh, sense ain't common. And I started laughing, but the laughter was from the shock of the fact that somebody even thinks that way. Because the majority of us think, man, where your common sense at? But a lot of us don't really be like, man, sense ain't as common as you think. So it's not the fact that you don't have answers. It's not the fact that we don't have answers. It's the fact that sometimes people with answers don't have all the answers that are right for you. What you think about that?
I think that's a very very good point, man. And I think when you're dealing with the danger of giving advice, the danger,
There's the dangerous, the danger of giving advice.
the
Giving advice
danger.
ain't dangerous.
Oh, hold on,
Bro,
ho.
you give 1,000 pieces of advice. I know you ain't about to say the danger,
The
because that's gonna
danger.
make me think about the advice you've been giving me over the years
No,
differently.
but check this out. Check this out.
Okay, okay.
The danger of giving advice
Uh-huh.
is not necessarily the person that's giving the advice,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the person that's receiving the advice.
Ooh. Okay.
Because,
Okay. Explain.
prime example, Flavius and I have been friends for how many years now? Like 20 something years.
Forever, man. Forever,
22
man.
years, 24, man.
Early 20s.
Yeah. Since about 2000, 2001, for sure. There's been some advice that Flavius has given me.
Mm-hmm.
Some sound advice.
Okay. Okay. I'll be giving sound
Flavius is
advice
like,
tomorrow.
Ulysses, bro, like, I love you, man, but X, Y, and Z. You should be doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, man, I hear you, man, but you know what? My mind is set on A, B, and C. Flavius gave me good advice. But I took his advice, but didn't take his advice, if y'all know what I'm saying.
You took it, but did take it.
Right?
Right?
So,
you heard me.
So the danger of you giving me advice,
Yeah.
the danger of it is that when I listen to what you got to say, and I don't do what you got to say, the danger can easily affect the relationship. Because next time when I come back to Flavius and I'm like, bro, I should have listened. Right? Flavius will be like, oh man, cool. Oh man, I got this situation. Well, bro, do I really want to tell you my advice? Because if you didn't listen the first time, why are you going to listen the second time?
Is that how do you do me like that? Because I don't be doing you like that. I ain't about to tell you nothing. Hey
No,
man, you on your own. That's, you ain't listen to me. But
no, no. Now.
but I definitely, that's a great point.
Mhm.
A lot of times it's not, and that doesn't, and I, you know what, I don't want to get the people confused, because that implies that every piece of advice or wisdom that they get is applicable. Just because something is good advice, does that mean it's applicable to me?
If given in full context, the answer is yes. If if I come to you with full context
One on one.
of what I'm needing,
Yeah.
and you
One on
give
one.
me that, then the answer is yes. But if I just tell you my side of the story,
Yeah.
the only advice you can give is a
Uh-huh.
one-sided advice.
And see, that's my thing though, is that, and I said that for a reason, one on one, because a lot of people are getting advice not, that's not one on one. There are less people that are going to somebody and are willing to be transparent and expose themselves, expose their private struggles, their private pressures, their private situations, than people that are taking advice on a broader scale. You know, there's a lot of people who tune into pages on Facebook, pages on YouTube, certain motivational speakers, or, you know, your favorite he or she, you name them, and you're taking advice from these people, but they don't know your circumstance. They don't know the particulars. They don't know the
Mm.
individual that you are. What is the right word? They don't know the individualism that what they're saying is being applied to. I can give gold to three people. One of them can go out and spend it all on their family. Now they spent all of it, but I can value what they spent it on. One person can go out there and invest that gold, and next time I see them, it doubles. Another person can go out and spend it on their vices, you know, like my son spending money on video games, and, you know what I'm saying, and PlayStation Network and all that good stuff. But anyways, and that money is gone and you have nothing to show for it. And I think those three scenarios really capture a lot of people that are getting advice, because the mindset is you're speaking from your shoes. And sometimes you need to be able to take a step, take a walk on the wild side, take a walk outside of your shoes. Everything is not applied to how you are and how you do things. There's you who may be a mentor to me. And I may tell people, man, talking to Ulysses, man, is has taken me faith by faith, glory by glory, leap by leap. Like I've really, you know, even my retrospective or my perspective of my past is I look at it differently from the things that I've gleaned from you, the things I've gathered from you. However, if you, as my mentor, assume all mentors are you, then I can't ask your advice about other people out there getting advice, because they're not you. They're not like you.
Right.
And same thing goes from, I may talk to you, but I may have two or three people that I follow on YouTube that I tune into more often than we get a chance to talk. And I'm listening to what they have to say about relationships. And I'm like, you know, if I listen to you, a man who has only been married once, I might go out there and seek out advice from someone who's been married more than once.
True.
And that doesn't mean that what you're saying works for one, for a marriage or a relationship doesn't work. It's just there may be a limit to how much I can apply that if you're only advising me from your vantage point.
So is
Are you
that
able
a
to, as an advisor, as a mentor, do you only advise people from your vantage point? Do you ever calculate the fact that there are other mentors out there that may not be able to
agree?
walk a mile in your shoes?
No, I've for just me personally, like, I'm I definitely try to listen to what the spirit has to say for sure. That's the my first answer for sure. You know,
Like that.
but sometimes no, and the truth is that experience can definitely be your first go to. And
I got you. I got you.
I think that's when it comes to the whole corporate aspect, like the Trent Sheltons of the world, or the Real Talk Kim, and all these other people that have made a living really off of giving sound advice for sure.
Yeah.
And to your point, which I really appreciate what you're saying is like these people don't know who you really are, but they're just speaking on a subject matter that hits home to a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
when Flavius and I get on the air and we talk about corporate relations, we talk about is death like divorce, we talk about whatever situation, that these topics hit home to some people.
True.
So so y'all are tuning in because y'all want advice, y'all want help, y'all want encouragement, and y'all give us motivation, y'all give us encouragement, and y'all give us good advice as well in the chat line, which is why we encourage you guys to talk.
Yes, sir.
Because so much of y'all have had life experience, and so it's in these life experiences that if we're not careful,
Mm-hmm.
we can I can give you my life experience, but it doesn't apply to anything that you're going through.
Mm.
It doesn't apply to how you can get over so and so. It doesn't apply to how you can keep your marriage, because yeah, I've been married once, and I'm quick to be like, let me tell y'all, what not to do in the marriage. you know,
Me
and
too. Me too.
let me tell you. So in hopes that if you want to hold on to your relationship, that y'all can hold on to it. But
Yeah.
somebody who gives a corporate advice, you see that a lot, bro, when it comes to psychology.
Mm-hmm.
People who study social work, people who study to become a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever the case is, anything that got to do with the mind,
Mm-hmm.
they are only regurgitating what they've been taught.
Mm.
So the craze, the fad that's been in circulation the last several years is the whole narcissistic community. You
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
and so.
Everybody love to call somebody, and you can't even be confident these days. Somebody be like, "You're so narcissistic." Well, I thought I was supposed to be driven. I was born in the '80s, and back then they was like, "Be driven, push for your goals." Now all of that is narcissism.
Yeah,
Be
because
careful who
because
you believe, because some people, it's a lot of manipulators out here in the world. But anyways, go
yeah,
ahead.
but to your point, that's exactly what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Is the, everybody is the corporate relations is all about the trend. It,
Yes.
it's all about the trend, you guys. And if not everybody you've been with was narcissistic. I'm sorry. Not everybody that's called you narcissistic makes you narcissistic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to your exes who called you that, and I'm sorry for some of y'all who y'all called exes that. Not
Man,
everybody is narcissistic.
it's such an easy cop out.
It is, but the corporate relations, bro, and when you're dealing with the corporate world,
Yeah.
the again, speaking from my own shoe, if you are not producing, then you can't be a part of this corporate world.
Mm.
So let's take that into the relationship. What happens when the person that you're with is not producing?
Mm.
Are you taking the corporate advice? That's my question for you guys in the comment, for those viewing. If if your loved one, if your partner, if your spouse, if your boo, what does that look like to you when it comes to how your partner is supposed to produce?
Hmm.
Because corporate relations will tell you if your man doesn't make more than you, right? If your man talks to you, if your woman doesn't do this, if your man don't do that, then that's a problem.
Yeah,
That's to me, bro. That's the whole corporate relations.
I feel you. Hold on, let me shut the door because I'm about to say some things.
He about to, but Flavius is done stirred up right now, and then he don't want to get in too much trouble tonight. But no, but it's this whole, and bro, like I'm trying not to get overly, trying to
My
overwhelm people right now, right?
my
Because
thing is that a lot of times, there's always somebody on the podium, somebody with a loud mic, somebody with charisma, somebody with, it don't even have to be the most talented people in the world or the superstars of industries and all that stuff. It could just be, what's good for the goose is good for the gander is the mentality that we have. If something works for one man, it should work for all men. If something is good advice to a woman, it's good advice to all women. And the truth is, it's not. And I've watched for the last 2 years women adapt to the advice that they've been given. And the truth is, all these years later, they're still no happier than they was in the beginning. Live your best life, go on vacations, take pictures, broadcast your meals and your dates and your relationships and your nice clothes and your nice this and your new that. And the one area that most people are still talking about, still having issues with, is relationships. The amount of money that I make or you make will not affect. I don't, you could be a rich woman. That gives you no right to me. And maybe you never met somebody with the audacity to reject you or to not even engage you, but that's a you problem. That ain't a me problem. That ain't a us problem. Your money does not impress every man that you meet. How fine and how good your makeup is on you does not impress every man you meet. The way you articulate yourself and the way you bounce back and super, none of that is a factor on whether I want to spend my time with you. Because there's a lot of successful people that really need to be in a room, a rubber room, but if you ask me, but there's a whole lot of successful people that need to be alone because the worst thing that they do is open their mouths.
right,
If you just could watch them be them, it would be beautiful. But soon as they get to engaging you, it's like, ugh, where's all that coming from? Well, let me tell you about what I've been through and all this other stuff. And it's like, I see why the Bible says it's easier for a rich man or woman to enter into the eye of a needle than to get into the kingdom, because the kingdom is really a heart situation.
right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
A kingdom is really a heart situation. It's something near and dear to the heart of God. And anytime you see, sometimes people don't understand certain things about kingdom business because they don't relate it to the heart. Even though the Bible says, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So it's like it's an indication of a connection that people don't make. And so a lot of people in regular life are trying to get to your treasure, trying to show you their treasure, but they don't understand that in order for you to get to the value, we got to go through some hard issues. We got to deal with some things near and dear to the heart. And more people are willing to explain why they protect their heart and guard their heart than spending time laying out the welcome map. welcome mat and opening the door of their heart. So it'd be the equivalent of solicitors. Man, when I was in sales, bro, my first introduction to sales was door to door sales. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, boy. When it comes to sales, it's so much easier to have a car lot or a furniture store or anything where somebody could come to the location and pick out their stuff than for you to go into their environment, their home, their place of safety, knock on their door with the intentions of coming in, and they didn't plan for you to show up. And the truth is, that's the most common encounters that we have when it comes to relationship. You didn't plan for this person to show up. Now
Right.
imagine how easy, how difficult it could be. All of those three things. For me to try to convey the value of what I'm offering if you never open the door. I mean, bro, you could crack a window open and listen to me talk. Somebody else will walk past you in your household and be like, it's a burglar at the door. What's going on over there? It's immediate alarm based off of how you let me in, the access you allow me. I've engaged with a female, bruh, and everything was going good. But because they kept me, they never really let me in. When they friends came that were in that inner sanctum, that secret place, that kingdom, they was already in your heart. When they showed up, they like, girl, who is that? Who is that? I don't know, girl. He looked like he light skinned. I remember I dated a light skinned dude. What is he, 5'9"? I remember I dated a 5'9" dude. What he got, brown eyes? I remember when I dated a dude with brown eyes, and what he got, locks? He wear hats all the time. Let me tell you about them dudes that wear hats all the time. And it's
Gangster.
like,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like you're putting me at the window, making no matter how much you're willing to engage, I never really in. And what happens is from the podium, and I get this from church. I honestly get this from church. I really believe that sometimes there's a lot of things that are said um, that are corporate messages that don't always apply personally. And even though 1,000 of us, we meet people different every single day. 1,000 of us could be sitting in the church, and the message only hit 5 people. But we all walk out and try to apply it and be like, man, maybe God was wrong. Start questioning God, start questioning all kinds of stuff. No wonder in relationships, people that have shown you everything about themselves, they've given you no reason to compare them to your ex and all this other crazy stuff. Maybe they told you about how they used to be as a testimony of the gratefulness that they carry with them on who they've become. And instead of someone appreciating what is in front of them, which is what they've become, they start getting all these paranoias about what you used to be, because what you used to be is what I just finished dealing with. So, I don't believe he'll ever change. So if you did that in your past, you ain't gonna never change. But I heard that before on social media. A cheater never change. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And those corporate things that apply to relationships. Those corporate things that are said that many of us can relate to. We can all relate to relationships, but that doesn't necessarily we can relate to individual circumstances or incidences within those relationships.
But man, I think what is so powerful, especially when it comes to the corporate, because it to me, like, it comes off as corporate rules and regulations, right? Like, this is the standard. This is what you got to adhere to. This is what you got to follow. So if a cheater is always a cheater, then the first thing you want to do is when you meet a new dude or meet a new girl is find out about their past, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Check their resume. Check the resume, people. Find out what's really going on. Because, and then if it comes to light that the person you're talking to did have a history of infidelity, of cheating, or whatever the case is, then the rule states leave as soon as possible. Or if you pursue the relationship, don't trust them. Watch them like a hawk. In the corporate relations, in the corporate world, this is and to most people will tell you, in the comment section, please let us know, is that sound, does that apply to everybody? Most people, I think, would say no, which is why they give said person the benefit of the doubt, right? And the hope is that the person doesn't do what they're supposed, do what they've done before. But when they do, then it's like, oh, that's where the phrase comes from. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Because he cheated on the last girl and now he cheated on me too. Or she cheated on the last dude and now she cheated on me too. So the corporate relations, when you're dealing with these rules and regulations, it's as they say, it's a very thin line of what is actually true versus, as they say, the whole aspect of following the flow. Relationships are tough as it is. Relationships are can be tricky as they are. Do we go into a relationship with a set of rules in the first place? Most of us, if we're honest, will say yeah. Why? The rules that we place on the next potential for some of us is based off the experience from the last person. Well, the last person did A, B, and C. So now this is my standard. Now this is my rule. If I see anything that resembles this, I'm not touching it. If I see any type of anger coming out of so-and-so, I'm running.
You raised your voice.
I'm running. If I see any type of flirtatious or friendly vibes with somebody of the opposite sex, I am not playing. It's over. OVA, over. Not playing around. Why? Yeah. Because we take our experience and we apply that to the next relationship. And then we take that experience when that don't work out and we apply that to the next relationship. Now we done set so many rules and regulations that we don't even know what day it is. Man. Now nobody stands a chance with you. You are so guarded, so closed up, so rules and corporate minded that nobody stands a chance to even get their foot in the door unless they meet all the criteria, all the qualifications, all the education, all the, take your pick, customer service. You got to have 5 years of customer service. You got to have at least a master's degree. You got to have at least 3 years of customer service. You got to have at least X, Y, and Z in order to even to even call me at this point.
Man. If we weren't the men that we really are in real life, I would be a betting man, and I would do a 2 to 5 to 10 year bet on certain people that I've met that I know are going to be single all that time. I know it. You ain't never going to find what you it's not even about what you're looking for. It's what you've been trained to look for. It's what you've been trained has to be. You gotta be like this. You gotta, sometimes I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I have certain thoughts about my daughter, who's my oldest daughter. I got two daughters, two boys, two girls. And sometimes, I'm worried about my oldest daughter because I see her taking care of a man more than as a father I would like to see a man take care of her.
Yes.
And only time will tell, whether that works out in their favor. Because I'm not in there. I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't, I'm not included in the relationships of others. As much as other people are like that. We date him. And I don't think he's good enough for us. He wouldn't be good enough for me, so he can't be good enough for you. Or vice versa. I'm not that type of person, but that's that corporate relations. You relate everything that is relatable is applicable to everyone in a person's mind. When the truth is, everything that is relatable has certain nuances about it that are particular and to your individual circumstance. If God could look at all of his children and make distinctions between each one, why are we unable to do, or at least strive to do the same? The Bible says that God looks on the inside and not on the outside, but most corporate messages are like, like you just said, if they don't got a good job, they ain't got a 401k, they ain't got insurance. And then some people will trash you for having a job. You a man with a good job, you ain't broke. Oh man, you don't own your own business. You ain't invested in the stock market and Bitcoin. Oh, what you doing with your life? You working for the man.
Yo.
What you that's somebody else's business it's like there's so many different mass messages that go out. And I feel sorry for the people that believe in their heart that each one is something valuable for them. When the truth is, there's a reason why some of the greatest influencers tell you to keep your circle small, because you don't need to be gleaning from everybody. You don't need to be getting something from everybody. These days, bro, there's two big things going on in the world. I'll say there's two big things going on in America: scamming and motivational speaking. Everybody want to be a motivational speaker. Everybody is getting scammed or coming up with some type of scam. To me, one of the biggest scams that a motivational speaker can have is that everything that they're saying, it's not working for you because of you. But they're not breaking down what that means. The insinuation is it's not working for me because I'm making exceptions. I'm changing what you're saying. I'm adding to it and subtracting. But that's how you recognize when somebody has a God complex. The Bible says in the book of Revelations not to take away or to add to my word. And when people come into your life and they feel like the only reason why what they said doesn't work for you is because you added to it, you took away, they have a God complex. Don't run from those people. Stand right in front of them and witness this so that you can learn this and see this in other people and understand this is not what you need to be following. They feel like they are infallible in their advice. So they go out and tell everybody their advice, even when the advice they give does not work for them. They have such a God complex, such an ego, that they will still tell you to do something that they know don't work for them, that they wouldn't even think about applying. Why? Because every woman that even they run into, or every man that even they run into, is not the same. And that's the part that they're not breaking down. Everybody is not the same. I can give you great advice. It could be so valuable. It could have came straight from the Spirit of God.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you or depositing in you may not work for everyone you encounter. And because most of us think all women are the same or all men are the same, we're like, God can't be telling the truth because it didn't work for this man. God can't be telling the truth because it didn't work for this woman.
Man.
Go ahead. We had a question before I see you over there steaming.
Yeah. So before we get to the question, because I know I'll forget.
Go ahead.
Have anybody ever encountered somebody? Flavius and I know someone mutual. We have a mutual associate. I'll call him that. That was, let me tell you how to make money.
Yes.
Let me show you what you need to do to maximize your potential.
That's a fact.
While this guy lived in a trailer, wasn't making any type of money, but was trying to give people, and it was sound advice. It sounded great, felt great, looked great. But how many times have people tried to give you advice when they are not living to that standard?
Man.
And corporate relationships? How many of y'all work who got bosses that you're looking like, how in the world did you even get this position? Like, how in the world, how do you have the audacity?
Yeah, man.
To tell me how to do my job when you can barely do yours.
Man.
And you have no experience in my job. Corporate relations. So again, hold on.
Man, okay. I feel you, man. And maybe that associate of ours met somebody. Maybe he met a few people that took what he said, and I'm talking about it transformed their lives. But that doesn't mean everything somebody is saying. If what they're saying could transform anyone's life, it would transform theirs also. But to me, it's not we crack our jokes. You know me. We crack our jokes. And you introduced me to this brother. But anyways,
my bad. No,
it's good. Because there's something to learn from it.
Yeah.
Is that he is an example that just because you're saying something of value, there are litigating circumstances, individual circumstances. It could be just a train of thought, the way you were brought up, what you were exposed to, whatever. It does not mean that it's going to work for everybody. Even though he may have found one person it worked for, he's still the opposite of that coin, the one person it isn't working for. Why? Because some things that are said to the masses don't work for the masses.
That's truth.
And go ahead.
So the question. Sally wants to know, do you have to check off every item from your checkoff list? No. In my opinion, no. I mean, and you know the truth is, men don't have a checkoff list. Most men, we ain't got no checkoff list.
Man. Ooh, hey, handsome. Oh, let me whip out my checkoff list. She called me handsome. That's one of my checks.
Right there. No, but most women do. Most women.
But where does that checklist come from? Who gave you that checklist? Because you wasn't born with it back in high school. You didn't have no checklist when you was dating.
It came from experience.
It came from experience and what you picked up. It's the checklist you developed. Who gave you the checklist? And did they promise you that the check, if it ain't from God himself, the checklist is fallible. The checklist is not a guarantee.
It will change. The checklist will
Yeah,
change.
man, bro. I
Come
was
on,
with
bro.
a
Hold on.
woman.
Come on, bro.
I swear, bro, I'm still recovering. Oh, I was with a woman, bro.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about fully attracted. There ain't many of you women that could beat her behind closed doors, under the sheets.
Freak
You ain't
in the
got
sheet.
nothing
Okay.
on my ex-wife.
Ooh.
Nothing, y'all. So a lot of the women that I run, and it ain't from experience, but I just know a lot of y'all probably putting it on the platter. But anyways, never mind. Anyways. But this woman, because she took care of me in certain areas,
yeah,
I retired her.
He did.
He did.
He did.
I retired this. I said, woman, you ain't never got to work another day in your life.
He sure did. True story. True story.
You ain't never got to work another day in your life. Hey, went to the light switch. Hey, click, click. That's your boy. You ain't never got to worry about a click and the light don't come on. Whatever you need. You ain't seen your mama in 15, 20 years.
I'm bringing her in. I'm flying her in.
I'm going to reconcile y'all. You ain't seen your sons. They got problems with you. I'm going to bring your sons into your life. Bro, I'll give you everything. And, bruh, it was based off of a checklist that I had. I don't know. Maybe I imagined it. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of women be talking about what they would be to a man and do for a man if they didn't have to work and the man took care of everything. I don't believe none of y'all. She ruined it for all of y'all. Y'all lying. You ain't got to work. You're going to become a nightmare. But
Flav telling the truth right now.
Man, and my loved ones and family and friends know.
We know.
True story. I'm breaking character for a minute, bro. And man, bro, for as long as my child was born, I'm talking about 5 years plus, all the way till it ended. You ain't got to work. You ain't got to worry about the stress of life. You ain't got to worry about no boss telling you, not appreciating you, valuing you. Girl, I'm going to take care of you. Any money you bring in, that's your money, girl. Baby daddy ain't sending child support, but once or twice a month, we don't need them. I'm going to take care of your babies.
I got you.
I got us.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that was on my checklist amounted to the worst relationship I ever had, bro. Woo! I don't know if what I did turned her into a monster. You know, it definitely left her with more time for all the conspiracy theories. She lost her mind. But just because you have your list doesn't mean that if you can check off everything on your list, that it's still going to result in something great. Because I had to think, where did I get the list from?
And for FLAVIUS' story answers your second question, Sally. Do other attributes compensate? No,
it does nothing compensated. I ain't impressed with nothing no more. I'm ruined. All
Nothing.
right. Y'all,
Nada. Zero noodles. Nada.
y'all want to know
Nothing.
why I'm still single? I've been ruined. I'm broke. Send me back to the factory because ain't nobody out here know how to put me back together.
All right. So back to the comment section.
Go ahead.
Elena says, yes, most of us do go into relationships holding on to corporate advice of the do and don'ts. However, it's important to have and give everyone grace, even in relationships.
True.
True. Have a personal relationship with the Lord and listen to the Holy Spirit.
Yes. Yes.
There is no guarantee as humans we won't make mistakes. And then have
Mercy
grace.
is the medicine for disappointment. Grace is the room that you give a person just because. You give a person the room. That's grace. They might mess up in the room, they might tear the room up, but you give them space, you give them the room. Mercy is the medicine, it's the antidote for disappointment. When they disappoint you, when it don't add up, when they don't measure up, mercy. And one of those things, both of those things don't exist when your messaging and motivation is coming from a corporate perspective. Now, that doesn't mean that the people that are telling the masses, that doesn't mean that they're wrong. Like I started off to say at the beginning of the show, I'm not saying that everybody out there through teaching, studying, ministry, anointing, uh, motivation, encourage, whatever it is that drives them all or us all, I'm not saying that we're wrong giving out answers to the masses. However, everything you say is not fishes and loaves. Fishes and loaves is going to feed everybody's belly. Fishes and loaves is going to meet everybody's hunger needs. It doesn't matter the location, you are fully supplied. But every word from man is not fishes and loaves. Every word from your girlfriend or your homegirl is not fishes and loaves. And just because you received it and heard it, took your notes and everything, that doesn't mean that when you apply it, I've been through 3 marriages, y'all.
3.
Any woman trying to be with me, you're a nut. Okay? You're crazy. And I tell Ulysses this privately. You must be crazy because I'm pretty honest about it. All right? You are a nut. I'm concerned about you approaching me because obviously I can't figure it out. Ulysses, they nuts. All right.
Some of
Just
them.
leave me be. Let me
Some of them.
entertain and do my editing and my reels and my videos. And me and my boys get together and let us do us. Leave me alone. The first marriage, my checklist, my corporate relation had to do with my dad. My dad is my biggest bro. I'm still at 40 some years old trying to live up to the man, the great man that he is. And I'm old enough now to know that even getting close to him, if I never get there, just getting close to him makes me a better man for the people around me. But when it came to marriage, my dad and my mom got an old school marriage. You know, when my dad cooked, it's like a practical joke. What are you in there? What are you in there making? You better not make that for the guests. You know what I'm saying? My mother is the cook. She washes the clothes. She keeps the house clean. And you know, the flip side of that is my dad don't mess up the house. He don't messy up the grill. But I tried to take that into my first marriage. You supposed to cook. You supposed to do this. You supposed to do that. And I'm supposed to be the man. And then even in that situation, when I lost my job and couldn't provide, I'm still expecting her to do the role, and because she got the checklist, not me. Not realizing that there's another part of the checklist that I ain't participating in. which is I'm not the man that my mother has. So I shouldn't be holding a woman that I'm with to a man
That
my
same
father
standard.
never was.
Mm-hmm.
My second marriage, you know what? I'm talking about this ain't for kids. Big old booty, you know what I'm saying? Super thick black girl mixed with her daddy was Italian, full-blooded
Woo!
Italian. You know what I'm
Jesus.
saying?
Woo!
Silky hair. Just, fingertips fine, toes fine. It's a
Mm-hmm.
dude that's married to her to this day. Every now and then I go look on her page and I be like,
No, you
he
still
looked too much.
stalking.
He looked too much like me.
No,
He
you
got
still
dreads,
stalking.
bro. Why she want to do with dreads? All
Let
of a
her
sudden,
go. Let her
she,
go.
I ain't holding on. I said every blue moon. I ain't say when them blue moons she came up. It ain't no normal thing. But what I'm saying, great woman. And a woman of faith, a woman of God, grandmama, mama, and her on the church pew sitting next to each other every Sunday. And that ain't no exaggeration. I would bet anybody I could go this Sunday and take a picture, sneak a picture, and I bet you all three of them are still sitting on the same pew, whoever's living. But I sat with them on the pew with the grandma, the mama, and her.
Mm-hmm.
Devout. However, she had a little ghetto in her, a little hood in her, and her sisters had 10 times the hood in the ghetto in them, and they was trying to fight me, and I ain't be fighting, about to be fighting no woman. The day I called the police on a woman for trying to fight me or prevent me from fighting them, I knew things wasn't going right. I was like, man, I should be fighting dudes, not women. Um, and the cops had to tell the women, y'all got to get up out of here. I felt like a punk at the time. I'd be like, be mature about this, Flav. This is the police are doing the right thing. But being too nice, being a doormat, allowed me to be stepped all over. My third marriage, I just told y'all, I tried to give the woman the world, and the world will never be good enough because even it ain't even good enough for God. It wasn't good enough for Jesus to stay here forever. There's people questioning our faith because God ain't always as present in the world as we want him to be. The devil is, but God ain't. And a lot of us are getting a whole lot of advice from this demonic, wicked environment. And just because what the Bible say, if it tickles your ear, it sounds so good, so right, that you go out and try to put it into your relationships. You judge your friends based on it. You develop loved ones by it. You treat your family according to what you're hearing from a corporate podium. And everything is not applicable because certain people are different. It's one thing. I run into a lot of smart people that are knowledgeable. I'm talking about I would not insult anybody's intelligence. However, just because you are intelligent does not mean that you are wise. And what I run into is a lot of people with knowledge, but a whole lot of people that don't know how to apply that knowledge. And that's what wisdom is.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is applied knowledge. A word of wisdom is an instruction on how to apply knowledge. And just because you got all the knowledges an encyclopedia can hold does not mean that you're a wise woman. It does not mean that you are a wise man. And I feel like there are a lot of people that equate the knowledge that they have. I've ran into, and I'm sorry, but it's two fellas on the show. I've ran into a lot of women who are bitter. And it's not because they're not strong enough to get past their disappointments. It's not because the last guy ruined them forever. These are powerful women, strong women, amazing women, but they are confused at how they have so much knowledge, but it doesn't equate to what their heart's desire is. It's because they lack wisdom. These are unwise women. These are unwise. Most of you women out there, y'all running into unwise men. They know a lot, but they can't apply a lot.
Man, I think for me, man, like when it comes to when it came to my marriage,
Yeah.
again, I was married for 23 years, and
The equivalent of all three of mine. Go ahead.
but the corporate aspect was derived from the church itself.
Mm, mm,
I stayed married for 23 years, or we stayed married for 23 years, because this is what the church wanted us to do.
mm,
We believed this is what God really wanted.
mm. No matter what.
Because we're taught in church to not divorce. We're taught in church to work it out to the best of your ability, to forgive your spouse. So we are taught this in such a manner that we have no choice but to excuse certain behaviors.
Mm. Ignore, even.
Even ignore it. So we believe we're moving in this area of forgiveness because, hey, I took you back. Hey, you said sorry. So therefore, I have to.
I'm obliged. I'm obligated.
And it's even worse for those who are in some level of position. The pressure to stay married because you're in a position. The pressure to stay married because everybody's looking at your marriage as the perfect marriage. Everybody's applauding. You guys are such a great couple. And so the pressure of maintaining that perspective, that look, because corporate church taught us well. They taught us well enough that this is how you need to behave. Corporate tells you to be successful, this is how you got to behave. Corporate church tells you if you want to be seen as godly, if you want to be seen as holy, if you want to be seen as that wonderful man or woman of God, this is the guideline of how to behave. So my marriage lasted 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, if I can be honest, it should have ended way earlier than that. We were not good for each other. We were toxic for each other. We had good days. We had bad days, like every other marriage, right? But the fact of the matter is that we stayed together because corporate relations taught us this is what you got to do. You're in a position now, ULISES, you're an associate pastor. The last thing you want to do is get a divorce while you're an associate pastor. Not just a pastor of a church, but of a prominent church. Everybody knew my church. Everybody in the state of North Carolina knew about my church.
Yeah.
The community that I was living in was a small enough community to know, hey, this is what this church is. This is the senior pastor. And, oh, yeah, ULISES, yeah, he's one of the associates. Matter of fact, he's the youth pastor there. Pressure to maintain a relationship based off of corporate standards. Nobody fully understands, unless you've been in those shoes, the pressure that it takes to try to make something work.
Yes, sir.
Off of a standard, off a corporate standard that is We're trying to work at it. We're trying to oblige. We're trying to fulfill it, but something isn't clicking. And y'all, embarrassment is an understatement.
Mm.
Shame, people got hurt. We all know that kids get hurt, especially when they're involved. But the pressure to maintain a relationship that really stood no chance of surviving. But you try for the sake of what corporate church tells you to. They need you to make this work. They need you to figure out a way. They need you to forgive. They need you to keep going at it. They need you without even asking, how are you doing? Embarrassment is an understatement. Shame, for sure. And it makes matters worse when you got somebody that's dealing with bitterness and unforgiveness.
Yeah.
It was a tough process. People completely cut me off. Church leaders. I haven't spoken to since. Because corporate relations tell them you don't talk to these people. Once they are out of your circle, once they get fired or whatever the terminology you want to use.
Yeah.
I was one of the core leaders of this establishment and never got spoken to since. Because corporate relations has taught people to cut them off. If the president, the boss, tells you to do X, Y, and Z, they listen. Forget about the individual. They're looking at it as a corporate entity. And when it comes to relationships, a lot of the hurt comes from that they choose the entity over the individuality.
Mm.
And it hurts. A lot of people leave the church because church has taught them, why are you getting a divorce? And if you're getting a divorce, how does that affect the entity? Without really giving true acknowledgement, regards to the individuality. I open up myself to this because as we've been saying this whole conversation, a corporate relation does not apply to every situation.
It does.
And if you take the time to really listen to the person instead of worrying about who is it going to affect, how is this going to affect me, how is this going to affect what I'm doing, how is this going to affect my goals, my plans. When God tells us to love, the way that he tells us to love is a selfless act.
Yeah.
But we're dealing with so much selfish that we don't understand what we're actually doing. My marriage suffered. My marriage ended because corporate relations taught us to behave a certain way and never addressed the root of the issue. We were told to forgive, as Flavor said earlier, to not just excuse, but to ignore a certain situation in order to keep a certain party happy. Let's ignore all this to keep them happy so that we can save face. While people are suffering in their relationships, let's see what we can sweep under the rug. That has to change. That has to stop. We keep it real. As y'all know, we
It's
keep it
got
real.
to, bro.
We keep it real with the here at the F.I.R.M podcast because people need to know, they need to see that even the best of us been through some crazy stuff.
We all go through things, bro. And, you know, sometimes that's the reason why people would rather take something at surface level than to go deeper. It's easier to hear somebody at a distance that I don't have to expose myself to. You know, I'm thinking about your conversation with Darlene Thursday on the last podcast and how she said that she had talked, you know, that you got to seek help. And as she went and talked to her pastor, she went and talked to her, you know, her different counselors and people in her life. And it was because sometimes there, let me say this, there are some people who are willing to open themselves up for real solutions. And then there are some people who cover themselves up because of what they've gone through. And when they go looking for solutions, they never uncover nothing. You might be telling me you got a guy that you're dealing with who's got bad hygiene. I give you all the advice. You know, me and my boys come take your boy out, your guy out. You know what I'm saying? And we have a guys' night where we gift him with things that'll help him with his hygiene. He gets home, his hygiene gets so much better. Then here you come again talking about the real problem. And it's because surface level issues are easier to address. There is no pressure in it. It's easy to say, instead of going and being by this brother's side through thick and thin, we're just going to take our hands off the situation and our love, our friendship, our history, our everything that we've experienced. We're going to take all of it away from them and just leave them alone because the corporate message has no room for this individual circumstance. We tried to tell them not to do this, to avoid it at all costs. Why? Because your corporate messaging, it only relates to people who are corporate minded. But individuals make up a corporation. Individuals make up a congregation. If you don't address the individuals, that's how you lead to Jesus whipping people out the congregation. When you don't address the individuals, that's how you get a message from God saying that because of the lack of knowledge, my people perish. It wasn't just the knowledge given to them, it was those who were supposed to apply instruction in giving it to them. God punished the lack of wisdom that resulted in the lack of knowledge. He'll punish those that think that they're wise because of what they don't share. What he say?
William
The
said
corporate mindset.
to protect the brand.
At all costs.
That's it in a nutshell.
And you know how many people have walked away from congregations of friends, loved ones, people who were their peers, counselors, volunteers that you volunteered. They've walked away from so many of these places broken, hurt, offended, because there was no room in the corporate to relate to them. And it's because a lot of congregations have become more corporate minded, corporate centered, and they forgot about the relational part. And I have a brother, Ulysses knows him, pops in and pops out of my life. One of the things, the gems that he invested in me was that the kingdom, it's about revelation and relationships. What's the point of getting all the revelation if you're terrible at relationships? What's the point of looking immaculate if you can't keep a man? What's the point of having money, investments, and everything, but every woman that encounters you says that you ain't worth it? Walks away and tells everybody else, girl, don't be, it's just a trick. Don't fall for the nice car, the nice money, and the nice clothes and the cologne. That's how they get you. And it's like there's so many mixed messages. Why? Because relationships are going to matter at the end of the day. It will always come down to it. And that's something that we want you guys, because this ain't a corporation, this is a fellowship. And the fellowship is in righteous manner. And we fellowship. Why? Because of the relationships that are built through fellowshipping. We could make you firm, or we can, which we can, let me say this, we can try to make you firm, but that would imply pressure, our own pressure. But here we believe that God molds everybody. So he brings the pressure. And the only pressure you should feel from this show is what's coming from God for you. God told us not to make people firm, but to build them up. It's a word translated from a word that's edification, to build them up. And if you look in Ephesians, it's to build them up in love. The best way to do that is through fellowshipping, by being transparent, by opening up, by addressing things that are near and dear to the hearts of the people that God loves, the people that we may encounter. And so we just want you to take away from this that it's not about It's not a rebuke to everybody giving advice. It's just the fact that those of you in attendance receiving the advice, respect your own individuality. Start to recognize the individuality of others. Maybe everything you're hearing from one source isn't everything there is. Maybe it needs to be coupled with some other sources. Person can tell you 10 things. I could tell you 10 things. Ulysses could tell you 10 things. Maybe you can use 3 of what he said and 2 of mine. But that's a powerful punch that you'll be throwing blows with in life. We want y'all to win. You know what I'm saying? This ain't a message. This ain't a topic of rebuke. This is an encouraging topic. We really want y'all to win out here in life. 2024 is throwing hell and high water. It's throwing conspiracy and craziness. It's throwing politics and you can ruin your reputation. You think celebrities, for every celebrity that's getting canceled, there's about 1,000 people in different places getting canceled. Just like Ulysses just told you the story of him getting canceled at a church. And God knows how I feel about that. I just feel like that shows something. That shows something about those individuals. And I wouldn't say throwing the babies out with the bad water that they're all evil and wicked and the devil's in that church. What I would say is they got a lot of growing to do. And thank God that he doesn't leave us to ourselves. Thank God that God is still in our lives and we are always growing until we meet him. Listen, you still growing. Me, if you ask my dad, my biological dad, maybe he heard from a spiritual father, but he'll say, man, it's going to be a marriage number 4. So let me tell you this. I'll be like, I don't want to hear that. But it's going to be a while. Because I done had multiple checklists and I'm almost convinced. I don't know what I'm not convinced. I don't know what I feel like the best thing for me to do and the best thing for other people is to keep fellowshipping with righteous people, learn from them, grow from them, open yourself up to God. Stop approaching relationships with walls and expecting someone to have success getting to your heart. Let down your walls to those that would let theirs down and take a chance. Some of y'all so scary. Oh my God, man. Some of y'all so scared of heartbreak. Some of y'all so scared of reaching after the impossible just because it's impossible. Where is your hope? Where is your faith? O ye of little faith. Tune in to the F.I.R.M podcast, to the F.I.R.M Pressure podcast, so we can encourage and increase your hope and your faith. Because there's a lot of people out there with little of it. And that's the reason why you can't give people a chance. And some of y'all won't even give yourselves a chance. Remember your faith. Remember who gave it to you. It doesn't require evidence. Some of these corporate relations, some of these corporate messages are sending you out to look for evidence. Your faith is left at home. You need to start going out there looking for evidence and keeping your hope to be able to hope beyond what you can't see. That's all I'm saying. Let's get back to faith and hope. Might be a little less bitter in life, and stop being so afraid to lose. Golly, how fickle are people out there? You ain't never lost nothing.
I don't want to be disappointed or hurt no more.
You ain't never been disappointed or lost. Toughen up, buttercup.
I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of losing.
But this ain't for the soft and the weak. This is for the firm. We want you to be firm. Take a chance. Take a loss. Think about how many that you have gone through and that you're still here. And the only thing that's been affected is your emotions because you're still going to work and they don't know, your boss don't know you heartbroken. You still dealing with your family members, you know what I'm saying, your kids. They don't know you still thinking about your last ex, past the last ex. You're stronger than you're giving yourself credit for. You are firm. You're not making you. God made you firm. We're trying to encourage the firmness to come on out. You know what I'm saying? That's it, Ulysses, man.
Hey, listen, you guys. Thank you guys so much. I know it's past some of y'all's bedtime, especially for those in the East Coast. I
Saturday.
think
Not
past some of
mine.
y'all. Oh, yeah, not Flav, because Flav used to stay up 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't. Team no sleep.
What? Team no sleep. But listen, man. Hey, wow, powerful
Great
conversation.
show, man. Powerful conversation.
You know, the idea of corporate rules and regulations when it comes to relationships is real. Is real. You know, but as we talked about at the end, you know, don't be afraid to be you.
Mm.
Just don't be afraid to be you, and really need to understand the importance of of the of the individuality of who you are and the potential that you have.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, at the end of the day, you guys, you know, rules and regulations are designed to keep things in order.
Yeah.
That's what the idea is. But we
Mm-hmm.
all know, especially for those who work at a job, sometimes some of these rules and regulations are why can't we? Exactly.
That's me Monday
So
through Friday.
so so take your relationships, whether it be, you know, a romantic one or your kids or your parents or work. Be wise about the relationship that you are in. As a comment said, I think Elena said it earlier. Let the spirit guide you.
Let him guide you. Yes.
Let him guide you. Like the spirit will give you wisdom
Mm-hmm.
to be able to figure out what to do next, how to
Yes, sir.
approach the situation, how to address it, the whole nine. Trust
Yes,
that
sir.
you are hearing from the Lord. Trust. But corporate relationships has its purpose, but don't let that guide you.
Don't
Don't
let
let,
it be the end all be all.
that's all I got to say, bro.
All right, man, that's all we got to say.
That's
You know what I'm
all we
saying? We
got.
appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of the Firm Podcast, man. Go back and watch and enjoy our previous shows. Until we come back again, listen, just hope you guys, to the response our live does not reflect the engagements that we have. I want y'all to know that ever since we've been putting the pressure in the firm, that the analytics have been going up. So obviously there's something that we're saying. There's something that you're saying. This fellowship is growing, whether you know it or not. Sometimes it grows underground before it busts out to the surface. But I'm hoping that by the time it busts out to the masses, we're going to have so many people out here that are firmer in their faith, firmer in their hope, firmer in their belief in God, have lived beyond their fears, have taken chances, realizing that they're going to survive. Some of y'all acting like the promise of this life in God is not eternal life, and you can't even take 1 year of disappointment. You better toughen up, Buttercup, as Pastor Charles Neiman in El Paso, Texas, would tell you. Toughen up. You know what I'm saying? And it's not any rebuke on you. It's just sometimes what someone sees in you is not always what you're able to give yourself credit for. You're stronger than you think. You're smarter than you think. You're bolder than you think. You're firmer than you think. Keep pushing, y'all. Appreciate y'all. What up, world? It's the F.I.R.M.
Let's get it. Welcome to the F.I.R.M.
Oh, it's about to go down.
Set your schedule. Eastern Standard Time.
Saturday Nights Live for a time that's one of a kind.
Woo-wee. There's nothing off the table, no trolling. We go from politics to religion to relationships to whether or not you like crunchy or soft taco.
Woo! Forget about a love language. What about your love level?
Oh man, we excited for this one.
On all social media platforms.
So make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Fellowship in a righteous manner. That's the banner.
With your hosts, FLAVIUS and ULISES. We rolling Eastern Standard